The Africa Travel Association, the world's leading travel trade association promoting travel and tourism to Africa, held its 39th Annual World Congress in Kampala, Uganda, with the theme "Tourism is Everyone's Business." Officiated by Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni, the Congress brought together over 500 international and local delegates from the public and private sector to discuss the most pressing topics to advance the African tourism industry.
It's a great program because we have with us stakeholders from the tourism industry, from private sector, from government, from media, from the NGO sector, from the environmental organizations, from the diaspora. We have political leaders, we have civic leaders. So I think that one of the unique aspects of this conference is that we brought so many of the stakeholders together that make up the mosaic of the tourism industry, and everyone's at the same table talking.
From 2012 to 2013, Africa saw a 5% growth in arrivals, with $65.1 million and $43.9 billion in tourism receipts. A report by the African Development Bank emphasized the crucial role tourism plays in Africa as it harnesses the potential to increase trade, create socio-cultural linkages, and spur economic and job opportunities.
Tourism industry, particularly in Rwanda, has been growing so fast that in the last past years after the genocide, it has been very contributing to the Rwandan economic growth, because it has been competing with the agricultural industry. So they're now competing to the extent that the tourism industry is beating the agriculture industry. And to the African context, I think it's been so vast that it is also taken a larger scale that everybody is admiring to join the industry.
Kenya has been largely ahead of Uganda because of our history and our challenges. So some of their professionals are able to come from colleges like Utali, and then come and be able to support ours, which are still in nascent stage. So it's also support in the professionalization of the sector, of the service sector.
Representatives from the African Union, a new partnership for Africa's development, Computer Frontiers, and the Association of Uganda Tour Operators discussed policy development, strengthening intra-Africa partnerships, infrastructure development, visa processing, and creating linkages between the public and private sectors to advance Africa's tourism growth.
Tourism is an industry that will not work unless public sector and private sector work together. Unfortunately, the government cannot do tourism alone, and the private sector cannot do tourism alone. Government needs to create the enabling environment to allow the private sector to flourish with respect to tourism. Governments help with respect to security issues, infrastructure, visas. When people travel, they cross borders, and all the issues that come as a result of that. Health concerns, of course, we're talking about Ebola. Yeah. So all these issues are connected with tourism. However, at the end of the day, it's the private sector that sells and packages the products. It's the private sector that takes care of the guests and provides the experiences. It's the private sector that really is doing the actual commerce part of tourism.
We should encourage more airlines that fly directly to the US, infrastructure development on our roads, the roads that lead to the different tourism sites. All that needs to be done, and it needs funding, capacity building for our tour guides, for our hoteliers, for the service industry. I happen to be the chairperson of Uganda Hotel Owners. We need a school to train our waiters and waitresses and tour guides, generally in the hospitality industry.
World-renowned travel journalist Peter Greenberg, travel editor for CBS News, delivered a thought-provoking keynote address to open the travel trade sessions and also moderated the Tourism Ministers' Roundtable with ministers from Kenya, Namibia, Tanzania and Uganda. Greenberg emphasized the role government can play in engaging the media.
Africa has always been, at least from the North American perspective, and perhaps the world perspective, a forgotten continent, an ignored continent. I'd like to think that your growth has been through uncertainty. Your success has been accidental, and the world still doesn't understand you. When we sit here in Uganda and talk about 54 different countries, I hesitate to say this, but most of my fellow Americans could maybe mention 3 of them, if they're lucky. And that doesn't mean they would even know where they are. My fellow countrymen are the most geographically and culturally ignorant people on the face of the planet. You have a great product, you just have to have a great strategy. And that's where the problem is. What is your story? How are you going to tell it? When are you going to tell it?